Hey everyone, this is NHL Hutton Sports, and today we're ranking the NHL goalie duels before the season starts of 2021 to 2022 season. A lot of goalies moved around this year. Tons of them have switched places. This guy goes here, this guy goes here. Free agency, trades, you name it, that stuff. And let's figure out how well do they do. How's the goalie tandems now? It totally changed, and we got a new team here too, the Seattle Kraken. So, I'm going to take out my red marker, and let's mark it up and say, what's the grade we can give them? Let me know in the comments below what you think about them, and let's get into the first one. Starting off with the Montreal Canadiens, Carey Price and Jake Allen. Of course, the Montreal Canadiens got to the finals. A big part was Jake Allen during the regular season and Carey Price in the playoffs, and what Carey Price can bring in the playoffs is just beyond what people can think. Just incredible what he can bring. So, what do you think about this? As a goalie tandem, I will give it an A. There's nothing I can say wrong about it. It has not changed. I think it's perfect. It's just a great goalie duo. Absolutely. So let's go on to the next team, and that is the Detroit Red Wings. They had Bernier and Grice last year. This year they trade for Alexander Delkovich, literally for a third-round pick. And Bernier, who didn't want to stay, he's not going to stay in the Red Wings, went to Carolina, and he didn't stay with Carolina either. And he went to sign with the Devils. We'll get into that later, but Steve Yzerman, what he did here was fantastic. They needed a young goalie. They had none. This draft they brought in, they drafted actually Sebastian Cossa, Canadian goalie, but that's going to be a couple years down the road. If a couple years down the road. So having Nedeljkovic and signing him to a deal, since he was an RFA, $3 million deal, you gotta love it. And Grice had an okay year, but he can be solid for him. I'm going to give this I'm going to give it a B. Why not? Or B+. Should I give it a B+? I'm going to give it a B+. Sorry, my marker died there for a sec. I'm like, why is it not working? Okay, B+ is what we have for the Detroit Red Wings. Very good. Absolutely, for sure. Moving on to the Ottawa Senators, Matt Murray and Philip Gustafson. Murray hasn't been very impressive with the Ottawa Senators, ever since the two cup runs. That's about it. That $4 million contract does sting for sure. Gustafson, solid, young player, young goalie, really like that. I want to give this tandem a C+. Because of Matt Murray. Phil Gustafson played really solid. And so did Joey Daccord, which now is with the Kraken. C+. Moving on now to Boston, Allmark and Swayman. So weird not to see Tuukka Rask in that, right? He's always been a Bruin. But Tuukka Rask, who knows about him? Maybe he signs, maybe he doesn't. But Allmark is part of the Bruins, brand new. And you have Swayman, beginning of the year, what you have? Rask and Halak, one of the best goalie duos. And Swayman, the young goalie, comes in. And Rask, who knows about him? And you bring Allmark from Buffalo. Goalie duo is not bad. You have to give it to them. I'm going to give it, Allmark's a solid goalie. He's big. He's solid. You can see the difference with Buffalo, who was in net or not, even though they had a terrible season. You have to give him can we give him a B+ here. Moving on to the Leafs, they have Peter Morassic from the Hurricanes. They have signed Campbell, who took over here when Freddie Anderson wasn't doing very good. So, looking at that, what do I think? I'm going to give it a B. Morassic has his ups and downs, his struggles at times. Campbell has been solid. This year was really good for him. It wasn't because he wasn't the reason why they lost in the first round whatsoever. I'm gonna give him a B. I'm gonna give him a B. They get a B for sure. Moving on to the Panthers, Bubblowski at night. Ever since Bubblowski signed that $10 million contract, that has stung. Bill Zito didn't sign that contract. Dale Talon did, and that was the year they signed Bobrovsky, Strawman, Colony, those guys, Joel Quenneville, which was a good pickup as Joel Quenneville as head coach. And they drafted Knight that year. So if you had this promising goalie, why should spend $10 million on this for Bobrovsky, which you could have used that money for something else, and got someone in the meantime until he became solid, which Knight looks very solid. So I'm going to give them a B- here. Knight is still learning. Bobrovsky, he's average now. He used to be a really solid goalie, so I'm going to give B-. Moving on to the Rangers, and not the Rangers, my bad. The Lightning have picked up a lot of players from the Rangers years before, right? But, the Lightning, Andrei Vasilevskiy, one of the best goalies in the league, absolutely. And then Brian Elliott is an upgrade, I have to say, over Curtis McElhinney from last year. The Lightning somehow couldn't win under Curtis McElhinney. Brian Elliott is he's a solid backup goalie, why not? And yeah, Vasilevskiy, Elliott, they added some good players. They added Corey Perry, just to think about it. On forwards, Bellmail, some guys. Interesting enough, right? So, but this is nice, and Elliott, I think that's an upgrade there. I'm going to give it a B for sure. Actually, I should give it a B+ because of Vasilevskiy. Actually, it's going to be an A. Moving on to the Buffalo Sables, Craig Anderson and Aaron Dell. Craig Anderson was with the Capitals last year, played like 2 games. The years before, Ottawa Senators, very good. But he did play in the playoffs with the Capitals, 2 games, more like 1 and a third, or like 1 game, 75% of the other one. And he was solid, and then they brought in Samsonov instead, and I wish they went back to Craig Anderson, but this should get a D. They lost Allmark, and they lost Hutton, which who cares about Hutton, but they lost Allmark, but, they'll hopefully Luka Pikka-Luukkonen could be that next future goalie for the Buffalo Sabres, absolutely. So I'm going to give him a D. Moving on to the Flyers. The Flyers I have is Carter Hart and Seth Jones. And I like this. I do like this. I'm going to give him a B+. I know people hop on, Martin Jones, but I think he's going to bounce back with the Philadelphia Flyers. I think he's going to be terrific with Carter Hart. I think that's going to be fantastic. B+ it is. I know. Hart had a down year this year too, but this can be bounced back. They changed up the defense. They added some down with the forwards. This is going to be good. I think it's going to be solid. Moving on to the Islanders, I have to give them a Varlamov and Sorokin. You got to give them an A+. You might think that's high, but I think you got to give them an A+. Right? It's Varlamov, Sorokin, and Barry Trotz. System. Lane Lambert, Mitch Cohen, goalie coach, how they play, A+. Absolutely. Sorokin, future, goalie for the Islanders. Varlamov, solid Russian. Very solid for sure. Moving on to the Devils, Blackwood and Bernier. They add Bernier. They had Crawford before the season started, and he's like, yeah, I'm going to retire after signing that deal. And they found themselves like, okay, who do we bring in? And they brought in Aaron Dell off of waivers from Toronto. But that's all they basically had. So now adding Jonathan Bernier, solid addition. You gotta like it. I'm gonna give him an A because Blackwood's solid. Bernier solid with the Red Wings, from the positives from last year. The Red Wings absolutely played really solid. A for sure. On the Rangers, Shesterkin and Georgiev, I'm gonna give him a B because they're still learning. Shesterkin has shown some good stuff for sure. But in the beginning of the season, a little inconsistent there. Same thing with Georgiev, with the whole team. So if we can see a really good, solid performance all year, it'll definitely go up. I am gonna give him a B. Moving on to the Caps, Samsonov and Vitek Vanacek. It wouldn't be fair if I had him higher than the Rangers or lower than the Rangers. I think I give him a B. Samsonov solid, Vanacek solid, but they're still young, like Shesterkin and Georgiev. They don't have that veteran presence. They don't have that veteran guy to help them. Like, alright, this is how you do things. There's two young ones together as tandem, so it takes a little while to get used to, right? So I'm going to say it's a B. Moving on to the Pittsburgh Penguins, Tristan Jarry, Casey DeSmith. Some don't like Jarry or DeSmith at times, I know. But I'm going to give him a C+. Because, it could be better, and it's just... Joey has his moments at times too. He had his solid times during the season. He had his weak times through the season. DeSmith was okay at times. I want to give him C+. Moving on to the Hurricanes. This definitely was a downgrade. They should have signed Nedeljkovic. $3 million they could have signed him for. Instead of signing Freddie Anderson for 4.5 was around to $2 million, or get Freddie Anderson and Nedeljkovic. I don't understand that because Ranta's a guy who gets injured. He's a solid goalie, which I can't say if he is or not because he plays a game, he's out for 2-3 weeks. So inconsistent. I can't really say how good he was this year. But Freddie Anderson had his down year this year. But they should have had Nedeljkovic and Anderson, right? So, I'm going to give it a C+, just because what they had and they got rid of. Morassic, okay, fine. But getting rid of Nedeljkovic was your guy. He was a top 3 rookie in the Calder Trophy. But I'm glad the Rings got him. But I'm going to give him a C+. Plus, we don't know how they're going to do with Carolina either. Moving on to the Blue Jackets, Coppasano and Morassic. I like Coppasano. He has his ups and downs, when the highlights of his career was making that 74 saves in Game 1 of the Lightning and the Blue Jackets. But after that, he has had his troubles. Morassic's better than two. I'm going to give him a B. I'm going to give him actually a B+, because I think they are a solid goalie duo, for sure. Morassic's solid, Coppasano's solid, B+. Man, these red markers don't really work that much. All they smell is good. Or there's cherry flavor, whatever. Moving on to now, the Minnesota Wild, Talbot, Kakinen. I think I gotta give him an A. Talbot played fantastic last year. Kakinen was solid. At the end of the season, still the fall off there, but he's a solid young goalie. I think I gotta give him actually a B+. Moving on to the Blues, Binnington, Husso. Binnington was very up and down this year. Husso, not very good. So I'm gonna give him a C+. Goaltending was very spotty last year for the Blues. I gotta say C+. Moving on to Nashville, it's weird not to see Rene, right? He retired. So you have Sables and Riddick. Riddick's new. He was from Toronto for a couple games, mostly from Calgary, as we know. I think he's going to play good in Preds. I think that's a really good pickup. David Riddick for 1 year, big goalie. Having Sables there too, very solid. I'm going to give him a B+ on this. I like this for sure. Moving on to Chicago, you have Lincoln and now Fleury. You had Lincoln and Subban before. Lincoln and Subban Delia, right? But now it's going to be Lincoln and Marc-Andre Fleury. I gotta give it an A. You got Fleury, you have Lincoln in there. I think you gotta give it an A. Moving on to the Colorado Avalanche. Dorsey, Campbell, brand new from Colorado. Solid goalie, but gets injured easily. That's the thing. Pavel Francouz hasn't played all year last year. I think I'm gonna have to give him a B, because I don't know how it's gonna go. Are both of them gonna be injured next year? Like, that's my concern. Moving on to the Jets, Halak and Conley. Conley, 26-year-old, picked off the Sables, I think, by the Coyotes a couple years ago. But Halak is a fantastic Vezina Trophy goalie, caliber goalie, right? So, can I give him a B+, for sure? Or should I give him an A? I'm going to give it an A because it's Halak. Moving on to the Dallas Stars. Dallas Stars is very interesting. You have 4 goalies: Bishop, Hopi, Hudobin, and Oettinger. I only put 3 on. I left Bishop off because I just don't know. He might be out for another year again. For 2 years straight now. So I don't know what's going to happen with Ben Bishop. Unfortunately. They're bringing Brandon Hopi for 2 years. I mean, $2 million, 1 year, my bad. And they also have Hudobin and Oettinger. So what are they trying to do here? You know what I mean? Because you're definitely not going to send down Oettinger, because Oettinger out of 3 were the best last year, right? And, you know, Hopi in Vancouver didn't have a very good season whatsoever. Hudobin was nah. And Oettinger was the bright spot. And that's why they were so close to the playoff spot, because of Oettinger. So, I want to give him a B+ because of Oettinger. I like Oettinger a lot. Moving on to the Coyotes, Hutton and, what's his name? Korchnoi. There we go. Korchnoi's from the San Jose Sharks, and you have from the Coyotes. They picked up from the Sables or through free agency. Carter Hutton. This is, I think, a D. Or should I give him a C? I'll give him a D+. Because Hutton, he has eye problems at times. That's not very good as a goalie. Korchnoi, this is his chance to shine. He's going to have a big chance to do that now, right? So we'll see how things go there. They're in the rebuilding direction, but I love what the Coyotes have done. Rebuilding, stacking up on prospects, picks. Do the right way. Because they haven't done it the right way at all. So, hopefully they do for sure. Moving on to the Canucks, Demko and Halak. You had Hopi before, now you have Halak now. I think that's solid. We'll see how that turns out. Demko's solid. Halak can be the backup, of course. That should be good for sure. I'm going to give it a B+ because of Demko. Moving on to the San Jose Sharks. 2 goalies have moved out. Jones and Korchnoi, who's gone. Now they add Adin Hill and James Reimer through free agency. Adin Hill, a trade from Coyotes because they knew they were going to lose him with the Seattle Kraken. So, like, we're trading you, bud. And now they trade him to the Sharks. This is interesting. I'm going to give it a, let's give it a B. Let's say a B. Like Adin Hill, he's going to get all the opportunity with the Sharks. Absolutely. Same thing with Reimer. Reimer used to be with the Sharks. 2016 to the finals. He was with him. So, we'll see how that turns out for them. Of course, the Sharks aren't projected to do much, for sure, right? Look at the Oilers. Koskinen Smith hasn't changed. The only reason I'll give it a B is because of Mike Smith. If anything, it'll be C, because of Koskinen. So let's give it a B. Mikko Koskinen's trash, literally. Mike Smith played really solid. Wasn't expecting that as a 40-year-old whatsoever, right? So let's move on now. let's move on now to the Calgary Flames. And Calgary Flames we have is Markstrom. We have Markstrom and potentially Tyler Parsons, Dan Vladar, we don't know. But I'm going to have to give him a A. It's because Markstrom, right? Why not? I think you have to. Markstrom, you play him, he's solid. They signed him for $6 million, 6 years. They better use him, right? So, exactly. Moving on to the Kings, Quick and Peterson. Because Peterson's becoming more the starter, and Quick becoming more the backup now these days. I'll give it a B. Let's give it a B minus. They've added some things, forwards, defense, but I think they're solid. Quick can definitely keep showing Peterson what to do, because, Quick, 2-time Cup winner, fantastic Vezina winner, terrific goalie, top of the league for so many years. Moving on to the Ducks, Gibson, Stolarz. I'm going to give a C+. It's not that I'm hating on the Ducks, they're my fourth favorite team, but Gibson hasn't been, the guy we usually know him as, and Stolarz, not bad, and this team's going to be rebuilding, so, we'll see how that turns out. The Golden Knights, Leno and Bruce Wall, usually it's Florida, it would be A or more, but I want to give it a B+. Bruce Wall's solid, Leno's solid, I think easy B+. And Seattle Kraken, Grubauer and Chris Drigo, I think that's really solid. I think I gotta give him an A. I hate the defense for the Seattle Kraken, really a fan of it. I like the goaltending too, and Grubauer was in the Vezina Trophy finalist last year. So, how do you not like Grubauer? You know what I mean? You gotta like what he has brought, so, you gotta like it. This is my rankings. Let me know what you think in the comments below, and I will see you in the next video. Let's try to get to 500 subs, and see you next video, like I said. Bye.